Hi everyone, I'm Carly Hall from carlyhall.com, and welcome to Hometalk, the world's largest DIY community for home and garden. If you're joining me in the premiere on Hometalk TV, I'm here watching too. So give me a shout out, let me know where you're watching from, and if you have any questions. If you want to be notified for future episodes, make sure to click the follow button and either download the Hometalk app or leave your email address in the comments and we'll get you notified. Today's episode is so exciting because if you know me, you know I love Cricut. So today we are talking about the basics of Cricut. And if you don't have a Cricut machine, that's okay too. I'm going to hold your hand and walk you through the entire episode of what a Cricut machine is and how to use it. But let me know if you're a Cricut owner or if you own a different type of cutting machine. I'd love to know where you are in your crafting journey, if you want to invest in a cutting machine, or maybe they don't interest you at all. So to get started, I'm going to introduce you to the Cricut Maker. This is the Cricut Maker machine. It's from Cricut, and I have tried several cutting machine companies. I've worked at both Silhouette America and Cricut, so I am not biased really either way. I love them both, but my favorite machine personally is the Cricut Maker. And if you want to learn more about that, I'm happy to talk your ear off on why I chose the Cricut Maker. So the Cricut Maker is a cutting machine. A lot of people confuse it with a printer because you can easily confuse cutting and printing. So today we are going to be cutting out a vinyl decal, so basically a big sticker, and applying it to this cabinet door frame. Well, cabinet door. It looks like a picture frame. So if you have an IKEA near you, I found this in the as is section at IKEA. So basically it's heavily discounted items because either they have damage or scratches, but I have found over my crafting career that doors and shelves and really anything at IKEA makes a good project blank. So I would consider this door a project blank, and I'm going to add the sentiment, "The Hall family established March 13th, 2015 on it so that I can hang it in my home." So again, I found this at IKEA. I won't link to this product directly because obviously I found it for $3, and I think normally the doors are like $50. So a great steal if you have an IKEA. Any blank really works though. You can find anything at Target, Lowe's, Home Depot. Really, anything you want to stick vinyl to, you can. So to get started, we are going to navigate to Design Space. Now, before I lose you because you think you're not tech savvy, I'm not tech savvy either. It's been a learning curve for me, and honestly, if I can do it, you can do it. So if you have an Android, iOS device, tablet, or computer, you can use this program, and we're going to walk through it. Again, I'm going to hold your hand and ask questions as we go. So if you don't own a Cricut already, you can still download Cricut Design Space and start playing today. So either on your phone in the App Store or the Google Play Store, it's called Cricut Design Space. And online, you can navigate to design.cricut.com and create a free account and start playing around. Okay, so let's take a look at my computer and I'll show you what I've made so far. Okay, so we are in Design Space and we are on a thing called the canvas. The canvas is really where you get to design whatever you want. So they have images that you can use and purchase. You can use the text tool. And the great thing about Cricut is you can use any font already installed on your computer. So for example, on the very left-hand side, there is this text tool over here. We're going to click on that and just type out our words. You can see that it comes in as a very basic font. The default font is actually Cricut Sans, but I can choose a Cricut font if I'm a Cricut user, or a system font. And a system font is free to cut because you already have it on your computer. So for example, we can check any of these fonts out, and let's just say I want to look at this font, and I can drag this handle over here and resize it. I know the dimensions of my board are about 8.5 in height and about 17 long, so I resized my image to fit into those dimensions. But you can have fun playing around with all of your designing, and then after you've come up with your look that you're going for, I wanted kind of like a hand-drawn font here, and then I did a sans serif down here. I welded them both together so that they were one image. And if this sounds like gibberish to you, make sure to ask all your questions, because I can either help you out in the comments or link you to other resources. So I have my Hall family established March 13th, 2015. Once I'm done, I'm going to click Make It. It will give me a note that it's larger than 11.5 long because my word is so tall. And you can see that it puts it on this mat. This is a preview of the mat, the cutting mat, that I'm going to use to put my vinyl on. So here it is. It gives you a nice little preview. And then we're going to click Continue and connect to our machine. I'm connected using a USB cable, but you can also connect wirelessly using, again, your phone or tablet device or computer. Cricut is so good at their user experience. So right now you can see that this pops up and it says set your material. I don't see the exact material I'll be using, which I'll show you in a second. So I'm going to click Browse Materials and I'm going to search for Premium, since I know my vinyl is called Premium Outdoor Vinyl. Once you find the material you're using, you can click that and select it, and then click Done. After you've set everything up on this end, you are ready to load it into your machine. So I'm going to show you what that looks like on my other camera. So I have my materials on my desk, and this is the premium vinyl. It's permanent and glossy, so I know that it will hold up, and I can just insert my fingers into the tube and twist until it's ready to come out. And then you can see that it has the color on the front and the adhesive with a liner covering the adhesive on the back. So it's all ready to go. We're going to load that onto a cutting mat. And Cricut has these things called machine cutting mats, and this will hold your material in place while it goes through the machine. So I just like to unroll about 1 inch of my material and stick it onto the sticky portion of my mat. And I just line it up, smooth it out, and bring it all the way down. And you just want to make sure that you're avoiding bubbles. And once it's all smooth, we're going to load it into our machine. On the machine side, you are going to take your mat and load it under these little white clips. And while still holding onto your mat, click the load button. Now, this will take about 3 minutes to cut. So while I would like you to see the entire cut process, I'm just going to start the cut so you can see how the Cricut moves around and cuts, and then I'll stop it since I already have one cut out for us. To start, the Cricut will go over and detect the blade, and that's what you just saw. So now that it's determining if it's the correct blade and everything's set up, that way you don't mess up your material, and then it will start cutting. You can see this is a fine point blade, and it's just basically cutting through the first layer and leaving the rest on the liner. So there's 2 layers. It's performing a kiss cut, and after it's done, this little unload button will flash and it's ready to unload. So I'm going to pause this and then unload it so I can show you the next steps. So after you unload your vinyl from your machine cutting mat, there are cut lines on the material, and you're going to use a little pointy tool called the weeding tool and peel away the negative space. So I just like to start in a corner and just gently peel my material away. I tend to go very slow when using adhesive vinyl because it is sticky and it tends to stick to itself. So I go pretty slow. Now, you'll have to let me know in the comments if you are a Cricut or Silhouette or Brothers Scan and Cut user. First of all, which machine are you using? And second of all, do you like weeding? I know some people love it and other people hate it. For me, I feel like it is so therapeutic. Getting this nice big scrap off in one piece and then going in and taking out all of the little inside pieces. I absolutely love it, and I could do it for hours. So if you need help weeding, I'm your girl. So you can see that all I do is I just go in and weed out all of the pieces, and you can continue doing that until your image looks like what you saw on the screen. So the image doesn't come out of the Cricut perfectly ready to be transferred. You do have to pull away the negative, and then it's ready. So you may notice that I trimmed off the established portion of my image because that is such detailed weeding. I did that off camera, and I have that ready over here. So here is my final weeded project, and you can see that the Cricut can cut such small, detailed numbers and letters. Those are so teeny tiny, and you can see that the detail is all there. So now, when I first started crafting, I thought that I then had to transfer this individually, letter by letter, onto my project. And that's what I did for the first several months of my crafting career. But thankfully, there is a thing called transfer tape, and we are going to apply the transfer tape on top and then transfer our image. So here is a sheet of transfer tape, and all you do is trim it down to size to fit your design. So just line up your design and then trim that down. And so transfer tape is a clear tape that you put over your image and then carry it to your final destination. So let's just trim this down to size. And then we're going to apply it to our image. So I just grab a corner. You can use your weeding tool or your fingers. Since it's clear, it's a little hard to see. And then you'll just peel back, create a little hinge there, and just stick it right onto your design. And you can see that I didn't cover that top part, but don't worry, I make mistakes all of the time, so I'm well prepared when I don't do things correctly. So I'm just gonna grab my transfer tape and cover any of the missed spots up here. Don't fret, there's that one hiding up there, or peeking out rather. So I'm just going to grab an edge over here and stick that up there. So don't worry, I craft every day and still make mistakes. And then I'm going to trim this down so that it's easier to put onto my little cabinet door. That way it's not sticking to itself, and we're good to go. So I have my image with the transfer tape on, and I'm just going to burnish that on top. And burnishing is just applying the tape to the vinyl so that it stays on, especially these tiny little letters and numbers, because those have such small surface area. We really want to make sure those stick on there. So we'll just burnish on to make sure those are super stuck. I also like to flip over to the back and burnish on the back too. That's kind of my little Cricut pro tip. I do think it really helps to make for an even, flawless transfer. So once you're done burnishing, you're going to grab your board and your vinyl decal. So we have our board and then our decal. And you'll also want a piece of masking tape. So I have masking tape here. And what you're going to do is grab a piece that is longer than the width of your design, and using your best judgment and maybe some finger measuring, so I like to do the finger measuring whenever possible, you can measure to see where you like your design. So I can come back in, see that's 2 fingers, a little bit less than 2 fingers. This is about 4 and 4. And then I like to hold it out in front of me so that I can see the placement. So I hold it kind of just out in front to make sure that it's nice and straight. if you want to grab a level to make sure that it's level, or really a true measuring device to make sure that the bottoms of your numbers and letters match. So it looks good to me. And once you have it exactly where you want, again, you can hold it up, make sure it's nice and straight. You are going to transfer it to your board. So what we're going to do is peel back the transfer tape. Again, grabbing an edge. This time I'm a little bit more careful because I'm on my board and I don't want to scratch it up. And I'm just going to peel the transfer tape back. Make sure that you don't lose any numbers like that. So just grab it with your transfer tape, bend it back slowly. So this craft is not one to kind of rush through. So it's not a hard craft, but you do want to make sure that you're paying attention to the little itty bitty pieces, especially since I made it difficult with that thin font. So once you're peeled back all the way, you are going to trim away the little side liner. So we're just going to take our scissors, and again, making sure not to rub those scissors against the board. You're going to trim that away. And now we're going to slowly press back our design. If you are a fast, slap-happy crafter, you can just put the transfer tape right down, but I like this method. We call it the hinge method in the crafting world. The tape being the hinge and then being able to fold back. That way, you're not just putting your vinyl down and hoping that it's straight. You can kind of mess with it and finagle a little bit so that it's nice and straight. So then what I did, I pulled off the tape, peeled back the other side, and now I'm peeling back the liner on this side. So you can see that it's still on the transfer tape. And using my scraper tool, I'm just going to press this down. If you're a Cricut crafter, cutting machine crafter, and you haven't used the hinge method before, let me know in the comments. I love knowing when I can help somebody find the hinge method for the first time. So now what I'm doing is just burnishing it on, making sure that all the letters are stuck down. If you're a finger burnisher, you can just rub your finger over all of the letters. Or if you're a tool user, you can use your tool. Again, all of these tools are listed on the materials list, so there's no guesswork on what you need. And then for the little baby numbers and letters, you want to make sure to go pretty slow and really burnish and cover up all of the letters because, again, the surface area is so small, so I just want to make sure that those are really on there. And then the fun part, the reveal. So you're going to peel off the transfer tape, and if you are a frugal crafter like me, you can actually reuse your transfer tape. You can stick it back on your liner and use it for another project. So we're going to go slow so we don't tear it. I mean, obviously I messed up a little bit on the top, but you can see that even though I messed up with putting that transfer tape on, it didn't matter. I didn't need to start over, get a new piece, or even worry. There's a little bit of a jagged cut there at the top. And then we're just going to keep on peeling. And again, I know I've said it before, but the IKEA doors, they're already painted and already finished. So this project, it didn't cost much and didn't take very much time to make it. So the longest part was probably choosing my fonts because it took me a while to figure out which hand-drawn font I wanted. So while this is still kind of halfway on, I'm going to cover up one side of my transfer tape so I can use it again. And then I'm going to keep on peeling back. There we go. So it's all off, and so it doesn't curl back up on itself. I'm just going to stick this liner back on, and you can see that now I can store this and use it for another project. So our project was so super easy and pretty affordable. Again, my little shelf was only $3, and then I just needed the vinyl and the transfer tape. I already had all the tools, but a really, really simple, easy project in terms of crafting, especially when you know the hinge method. So again, if you haven't seen the hinge method already, try it out because it will make your crafting life so much easier. If you have questions on anything Cricut, materials, all the different tools I used today, Check out the material list, and if you still have questions, leave them in the comments because I will make sure to answer all of those questions so you can get crafting and craft more efficiently. So again, I'm so happy that you joined me today and I could share all these techniques with you. I look forward to so many more shows in the future. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.